Warning, the following is a long list of warnings. If warnings offend you, do not watch this show. Warning, this show contains adult themes. If you're not an adult, do not watch this show. Warning, this show contains a lot of offensive language and may contain graphic content. If you're a Karen, do not watch this show. Warning, this show may contain shabby impersonations of celebrities. If you are a celebrity, represent one, or think this is unfair, do not watch this show. Warning, this show contains what could be seen as controversial and subversive ideas and opinions. If you can't handle differing opinions, do not watch this show. Warning, this show actively shows the consumption of tobacco, cannabis, and alcohol. If this offends you, do not watch this show. Warning, this show may discuss topics including but not limited to those in the realm of politics and conspiracy theories in a politically incorrect format. If these topics offend you or make you uneasy, please do not watch this show. Warning, the producers of the show will do almost anything for a laugh. If comedy or extreme comedic premises offend you, please do not watch the show. The opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of the producers, affiliates, hosts, ISP, streaming platforms, advertisers, partners, or like.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location inside the beautiful land of the Blackfoot Confederacy and Treaty 7 territory, Big Nate Productions presents Getting Laid with Nate.
Tonight on Getting Late with Nate, from Zimmer's Hole to west of hell, he'll paint himself up and he'll dress you down, Lord Heathen. Also, possibly Calgary's handsomest punk band musical guest, DOWNWAY. Plus, Nate's memes of the week and Nate's Conspiracy Corner. And now your host, the Vanilla Gorilla, the tallest Amish warrior, the fully functioning conspiracy theorist, Big Nate.
Yeah.
Raise that roof. How's it going, everybody? It's going to be a sniffy episode. I want to introduce everybody who's here real quick. We got the man with the master plan, Mr. Ace Hollywood.
What's up?
And we got Mr. Pants on the ones and twos. And then I'm really happy to introduce a special guest that's going to do our monologue here. Everybody welcome Mr. Ron JERGS.
Yeah.
Take it away, Ron.
Take it away, Ron.
Well, hi, guys. Ron JERGS here. You know, a little sit-down comedy and lowbrow humor coming right at ya. During quarantine, I enjoy my hand sanitizer on toasts and a nice, warm Dimetap daiquiri.
You okay, Ron?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
What do you call a gay Hutterite?
I don't know. What do you call it?
Isaiah!
Oh! Racy.
Don't worry about me offending Hutterites. They won't see this.
Probably.
Huffington Post has reported that a South Korean soccer team used sex dolls to fill an empty stadium. Wow, that crowd had real surprised looks on their faces when Dennis Rodman showed up.
Topical. Topical.
I don't even like basketball. The New York Daily Times reported that porn star Ron Jeremy asked City to not chop down tree planted by his father in Queens. Turns out maintaining long-standing wood runs in the family.
Oh!
No, that's not funny. Is that funny?
None of this is funny. I wrote it.
Right. Right.
Many of us will. I'll take responsibility for it.
Please do. Please do. The CBC reported that Wu-Tang Clan sells t-shirts and hand sanitizer for Ottawa charities. Wu-Tang replied to a tweet from a local businessman saying they had contributed to the Ottawa Food Bank and encouraged others to do so. This led to an additional 280,000 in donations. No real joke here. Just more proof that no matter what, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Oh.
Am I right? Am I right?
You're goddamn right, Ron.
You
COVID.
need a cigarette.
COVID.
Oh,
Pardon me. So my friend, a dude in his 50s, went to a matinee movie at the mall. Before going in, he hotboxed his car as usual. He went to the concession, buy a small popcorn and a drink. The youngster behind the counter paused and said, "Sir, smells like you want a large."
Oh.
Smart kid. DailyHive.com reported that a Detroit priest is using a water gun to spray parishioners with holy water in a bid to maintain social distancing guidelines. Leave it to a priest to get his point across using a small boy's toy.
Oh. But
Well, I hope you guys like burritos.
atta boys.
male bacon? I like your handles, people.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ron?
That's, I
That-
don't know. Is there anything else?
Is there? Is there any more jokes? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
That's it? All right, cool. Well, thanks. Oh, we have a special guest who's going to do a little riffing here. He's a celebrity.
Sean.
Of course, you can always get a burrito, but why would you get a burrito? It's so mysterious. You never know what's in it. At least with a sandwich, you can look around the edges, but a burrito is like a leap of faith.
Yep.
Fucking A, Jim Gaffigan coming at you. Those deep fakes are done by a good friend, Jeff Richards. Shout out to him. Look up The Real Jeff Richards on Instagram, and he does all those impressions and stuff. Deep fake impressions.
Yep.
Good times.
Nate's memes of the week.
I wanted to
What is
start.
this?
This is my profile picture on Facebook, and I wanted to start with it because it's. One of my friends said it was
Just the way it was.
extremely disturbing to her. And for those of you just listening, I don't know why you'd just be listening, but it's Biden sniffing a Jesus-like Hillary while she's holding
that
a
is
lamb with George Bush. And Obama's smiling over the horizon in the background. So
See that?
it's my buddy TJ hooked me up with that, and I think it's some of the best art I've seen. I'd like to get it fucking on my wall.
Maybe make a nice painting, actually.
Yeah, a nice painting,
Yeah.
up above the fireplace.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Here we go.
All right.
Look at that, being libertarian. The Democrats desperately pleading for Joe Biden for one day of no malarkey. And then Joe Biden's dressed like a clown laughing. I love being libertarian. Oh, Todd Garrison. This is the guy from Musicians Aren't People. Dudes will buy a 900-string guitar and chug one string. Zing. A fave. Squatting Slavs in tracksuits. Slavic science. We don't need no stinking fuses.
No, that's just Winnipeg electricity. That's the way it works.
Yeah. Oh, here's a babushka, another favorite. Babushka, I mean, really lightens my life. When the meat shortage of 2020 hits and you head to McDonald's for a McPickle. It's like 3 pounds of pickles. Good times.
Microsoft pickles.
Microsoft pickles?
Yeah, Bill Gates will have his hands in pickles by then.
Right. This is Squatting Slavs in tracksuits again. They got some really thick cut bologna. I don't know where you can get bologna cut that thick.
Thick bologna
and
is awesome.
They're frying it up with some onions. And Monday at 11:35 p.m. I put, this looks really good right now. I must have been hungry.
Yeah.
And they call it, the caption is Polish pancakes.
Well, you can actually get thick cut bologna in Winnipeg as well.
Cool. Oh, this is a news story from The Onion. FBI uncovers Al Qaeda plot to just sit back and enjoy collapse of United States. Seems about right.
No, everybody knows Al Qaeda never rests.
Oh, we got the Russian doll babushka headphones. I want a pair of those.
I love that wolf.
Just easy.
Yeah.
The wolf is really good.
Another babushka. Grandma. All people think about is sex these days. Also grandma. How many kids is that? One?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kids?
And then she's got one on each tit there.
Oh, Separatist 72 says you can actually get thick cut bologna at IGA.
Oh, that might be my dad. I think that's my dad.
There you go.
He lives in Quebec and he's a separatist. Shout out, Dad. Murderer. Any last words? Me, like my band page. That's another Musicians Aren't People. Is that the real Big James? All right, we got the real Big James in the house. All right, we got a Toilets with Threatening Auras here. Tuesday at 1:22 p.m. Who the fuck? Who comes up with this shit?
I don't know, man. If I was making or preparing food and you were taking a shit right there, I'd be threatened too.
And such nice countertops and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice.
Moving on. Squatting Slavs in tracksuits again. Mom, I want the seafood. No, son, we have seafood at home. Seafood at home.
Oh, that's bacon.
It's bacon.
I didn't actually notice that.
It looks like a seahorse. Who the fuck would eat a seahorse anyways?
I didn't know that was bacon. I seen this yesterday.
All right, there's lots of people in the chat. Fucking A, loving it. All right, this is another Musicians Aren't People. The lockdown won't last that long. The lockdown, a picture of Keith Richards.
Not COVID. What is
Being
this one?
libertarian, again. So you got a bunch of little kids. One's on top of the one. There's 3 in the background, Amazon, Walmart, and government.
Yeah, I like that.
And COVID-19 is beating the shit out of small business.
Yeah. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Fucking Pants is nailing the goddamn laughing. Look at this. We're getting better, people. It's working.
Too soon.
Oh, here we go. Being libertarian. The dead raccoon on the side of the road with the get well balloon attached to it. U.S. economy. And the balloon is stimulus checks.
Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah, that's not going to help very much.
Yeah. What is this?
Oh, here we go. The United States Space Force. It's a picture of a bag of mushrooms. And it says, make contact with UFOs and aliens by chemically changing your carbon vibration. Guaranteed to make them land.
I don't know if it'd make them land.
The United States Space Force, fucking follow that shit. That is so goddamn funny.
That's awesome.
Hashtag Space Force. Hashtag Semper Sky. Hashtag Instant Contact. It's too funny. Too funny. All right.
I like that one.
Here's another Being Libertarian. More memes, less government. Yes.
The claps even stopped.
There we go.
Oh, you come to the end there.
That's the conclusion.
All right.
Of Nate's Memes of the Week. So I'd like to welcome Lyndon Strangquist from Downway. Thanks a lot for coming, man.
Well, thanks for having me.
Fucking A.
Very excited to be here.
So thanks for coming on, and so you Downway went on tour to some pretty crazy places. You guys went to Japan, right?
Yeah, we went to Japan.
When did that go down?
December 2018,
Oh yeah.
if I remember correctly.
How many dates did you guys do over there?
We did 5 shows in 9 days.
Cool.
So
All over Japan, or?
mostly in Tokyo, and then we did one in Kofu, which is sort of near Mount Fuji,
Okay.
which was amazing.
So you got to go visit Mount Fuji and all that crazy
We got
shit?
to see it. The clouds just cleared up just enough for us to get a nice photo of it.
Nice.
Us sort of standing with it in the background.
Cool. What were the crowds like there, like size-wise? Start out with.
First of all, they're really small venues.
Okay. Yeah. I
so-
bet everything's small. there.
Yeah, but they were amazing. Everybody showed up. People had copies of the CDs from the 90s, like physical copies.
So what'd you say? Like how many people at each show? You figure?
It got better and better. By the last show, they probably crammed about 100 people
Oh, they're that
into
small.
one room. Oh yeah.
So way smaller than Dickens or something like that.
Oh, way smaller.
More like, yeah, even Vern's is like, I think 250.
It's
or
basically like imagine Vern's from the bar, the width of the bar to the wall.
something. Whoa.
And that's it. Some of
Whoa.
them.
Whoa.
We played one that was a little bigger, probably 160 capacity.
Cool.
But it was great. It was amazing. Everyone was so welcoming, and they, sometimes had food cooked for us after the shows, and it was a very humbling experience, to say the least.
Cool. So the fans were rabid then, you would say. You said they were all showing up with CDs and stuff. They still listen to CDs over there?
Yeah, they love CDs, and I do too. I'm a CD guy. I'm not a vinyl guy. I like CDs.
I figured they'd be listening to stuff on water over there or something by now.
Right.
Cool. Well, are we able to so tell us about the video we're about to watch. You made this, right?
Yeah. So the video was basically my contribution to the band. It was about 45 to 50 hours, sitting in my basement, hunched over, playing with dolls.
It's stop motion animation, right?
Yeah, stop motion. There's almost 1,400 individual photos, and yeah, it was painstaking at times. And I had my son; he wanted to help me, and he's like, "Dad," he's like, "Oh, I just want to play with these too." Like, can I?"
Man, what little kid wouldn't love that? Wow.
Imagine telling your 7-year-old, "Listen, I got to do this. Just watch." Telling a kid not to play with toys, like, he must have thought I was a dick. But I let him help, and it turned out pretty fun. It was great. I had fun doing it.
And so, like all the figurines and stuff in there, how did you make those too?
Actually, our buddy Matt made us these action figures as gifts. So he said he found this drum set, the little drum set in Value Village, and that's what sort of spurred him on to make action figures for the whole band.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and he surprised us one day after band practice. We showed up, and they're all kind of set up on Dave's his counter in his kitchen, and we walk upstairs, and we're like, "What the fuck are these?" And they look so real. And he made the packaging like it looks like an actual set you'd buy in the store.
Wild.
Put so much time into it.
So, how did 3D printing? Like, what did he?
No, man, he just buys like action figures.
Okay.
And changes them a little bit, puts different arms on them.
Wild.
Paints hairstyles on them, and basically your tattoos and whatever else. Like, he spends a lot of time on each figure. Like, the detail is amazing. Like, it's so funny.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, Ace, take it away. Let's. What's the name of this tune?
This song is called Punk OG, written by Dave Holmes.
Cool. By Downway.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Hey. Well, it sounds like it's coming through now.
I didn't know big drill car and I'd never heard of all. That was one hell of a summer for some Canuck kid from the suburbs. They could keep their AC/DC, I'd found home. To all our friends in all the bands we there's nothing else I'd rather do tonight. I first saw snowboarders in exile when I was 13 years old. I didn't know big drill car and I'd never heard of
Had to have my kid in there playing with the shit.
There, play with
summer for some Canuck kid from the suburbs. They could keep their ECDC, I'd found home.
That's about
Fucking A. That was awesome, man.
Thanks.
People were loving it.
Wicked.
You were saying that photo is from the Palace. The when you shoot back out
The
into the
drummer
crowd.
point of view shot.
Yeah.
Actually, I took that photo when we got to open for Sum 41, and
Wild.
that was fucking crazy.
Yeah. Was it sold out?
It was.
Yeah, that's 1,400, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was the biggest show that I've ever played, that's for sure.
And you guys toured out east too recently, right?
Yeah, we did last spring. We did Pouza Fest in Montreal and a little tour around that with a band called Hit the Switch.
Cool. You said 7 dates?
Yep. Yeah, we did, if I can remember correctly, it was Toronto at the Bovine Sex Club. And then we did, I think, Barrie, London, Hamilton, Montreal, and Quebec. I think that was it. Maybe it was 6.
Cool. That's...
Yeah, all thank you to Steve Rawls from Merit Based Booking.
Oh, yeah. Who else was in that video? Because there was you guys, but then there was a couple bystanders.
Yeah.
Somebody jumped on stage there, I saw.
Right, yeah, so jumping off the amp was Rich Kumont from the band DeVille.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
He had a guest spot on the song, and then Steve Rawls from Belvedere. And this is a standoff. Had a little guest part in there as well. And we thought we'd pay homage to those guys who, you know, before I was in the band, they used to tour with them all over the United States and North America.
Sure,
It
yeah.
was only fitting that we had them on the song. And
Very
they
cool.
are true punk OGs.
Thanks a lot, Lyndon.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks to all the Downway guys. And killer
Thank you for
work
being
on the
here
video.
tonight. Thank you very much. Last chance for more regrets. Check it out. Thank you.
Nate's Conspiracy Corner.
Thanks again to Big James there. Shout out. Are you there, Steve?
Yeah, we got
Yes,
Steve.
sir.
Hey, there he is.
All right. We got Mr. Stephen Fletcher in the house.
There we go.
I should, we know each other just from the business. I do sound and you play, what do you play?
Keys, mostly.
Yeah. Keys mostly. Any, can we mention any of the band names or?
You know, I don't really want to disclose any of that.
All right. Fair enough.
You know, lawsuits. And
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
come with this interview. So.
Yeah, they might find out your beliefs and fire you.
Oh, they know already. They belittle me all the time. It's terrible.
Cool. So I wanted to have you on to talk about flat Earth. I heard that I don't know much about it, and it seems totally nonsensical to me. But I'd love to hear your argument for the flat Earth argument.
Well, it's funny because I don't really argue about it with people. I just came across it on my own. You know, and actually, the first time I heard about it, I thought it was so stupid that I just tried to debunk it basically myself.
Sure.
And so the more I looked into it, the more I just found I couldn't debunk it. And eventually it just came to the point where I was like, well, you know, the evidence is just too much in one hand as opposed to the other hand, which was like the ball Earth. And so that kind of led me to believe not in flat Earth per se, but just not in the ball model that we've been taught.
Okay, interesting. And what they call that the heliocentric model, right?
Heliocentric, right? Yeah. So that basically came about with Copernicus, Galileo back in the 1400s, something like that.
Right.
But before then, all the ancient cosmologies were all geocentric, which is an Earth-based, system of cosmology. So, for whatever reason, they changed it. I have my thoughts on why they did that. But, so that basically started, 500 years ago.
Interesting. So, why do you think it's flat Earth?
Well, I guess my number one reason would be that you can't actually measure curvature. So by the heliocentric model, you would need to have, they go off this calculation of spherical trigonometry, which is 8 inches per mile squared of drop. So if you look, in front of you, the Earth should be dropping 8 inches per mile squared, which is like, the surface area.
Sure.
So say, you're looking, 100 miles away. I can't do the calculation in my head, but it's going to drop significantly, like, many feet, right?
Right.
So really, there's no way to actually show that. And a lot of people have tried to do that by taking long distance photography, all that kind of shit. Excuse me. But there's really no way to see that. And, the one argument you get is, oh, well, what about ships going over the curvature? The ships going over the horizon. But if you actually use optics, like a telescope or, like a camera that's got serious zoom.
Sure.
So if you're just looking with your naked eye, you see a ship basically go away from your field of view.
Yeah.
Most people would consider that to be going over the curve. Like, you're sitting on the beach somewhere and you see the ship go away. You're like, okay, I guess it went over the curve. But if you get out, say, like a Nikon P900 camera, which has 83 times zoom.
Right.
You can actually bring that ship back into view just with that magnification. So it's not actually going over the curvature. It's just going out of your field of view. And basically that is due to the resolution of your eyes, but also atmospheric, basically the atmosphere is like a liquid, right? So at a certain point, it gets behind this atmosphere and then gets too obscured by it, so you can't see it anymore, which is why you couldn't see, people are like, oh, if the Earth is flat, why couldn't you see Paris from New York? And basically that's why, because you can't, your eyesight or any, optical, mechanically optical system can't see that far. And also the atmosphere is basically like a layer of, liquid, if you want to.
Yeah, like that's kind of why you get the mirage effect, or.
Yeah, exactly. And even with mirages too, you see it inverted, right? So people will use that argument too, like, oh, it's just like miraging, but it's like, well, no, you're seeing it not inverted. So
right.
That kind of disproves that.
So this leads me to a question. What do you think the moon is then?
I don't know, man. That's, I think people have probably asked that question for all of time.
Yeah. Well, that's the term lunatic, right? Like people are obsessing over it and then they.
Well, I've read all sorts of crazy shit. Like, it's sort of like this soul recycling place. Like that's where you actually go when you die.
Holy shit.
And then like in the Truman Show, like, that guy, the main guy, Ed Harris, who's, what's his name in the movie? Christoph. He lives in the moon, right? And he's the guy overseeing all this shit, down on this fake reality that Truman's living in. So that's interesting.
Have you seen the lunar wave thing?
Yeah, that's really crazy too. Actually, the guy who filmed that, this guy Crow 777.
Crow 777, yeah.
And his fucking podcast is incredible.
Yeah, I've heard, yeah.
That's like one of the few things I actually subscribe to. It's like $7 a month. Totally worth it.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, man, who knows? Like,
So we should explain to people what that is, because not many people have seen that. So
Yeah.
somebody, yeah, it was Crow that filmed that. So he had like a highfalutin camera, like you're talking about, and he was zooming into the moon, and then you saw this weird, just like kind of like what you're describing, like distortion wave.
Yeah, it looks like
slowly,
some kind of like refresh, like, you know, on a screen or something, like a
refresh?
refresh rate or something.
That's
so it's
hilarious.
like, oh, is it a hologram? Is it, you know? It's like, well, who the fuck knows? But one thing's for damn sure: nobody landed on that motherfucker. Tell you that much right now.
Can I? We just got a few questions here in the group or in the group chat, if you don't mind. They're asking me to ask, how about when astronauts are out in space and they take a picture of the Earth and it's round?
Okay, well, I mean, if you want to believe that NASA actually is sending people into space, landed on the moon,
Okay.
have at her. I mean, like, I'm not out here to like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
There's another question. What about when you were high up in an airplane and you see the curvature of the Earth?
Well, that's funny because I've done that so many times, like since I got into this. Every time I'm in a plane, I'm looking at the horizon, I'm taking pictures, you know, then I'll bring it back and load it onto my computer, put a straight line on it. The horizon's flat as fuck every goddamn time. So could be the glass in the window that they're seeing it through. You know, it could just be completely psychological. But the one thing is when you get that high up in an airplane, the horizon always rises to your eyesight, right? Like to your perspective. Whereas if it was actually curved, it should be curving away from you. So
it's technically just kind of blurry. It's like an optical illusion.
I think, well, it's, to me, it's either the glass creates that curvature kind of distortion, or else it's completely psychological.
Psychological.
Because since I sort of woke up to it or whatever, I've tried to, see the curvature every fucking time I'm in a plane, which is like probably, I don't know, 50 times since I started getting into this. So
unrelated and inferred, and the last question from the group, and I'll pass you back to Nate. Do you think that there's a Nazi city on the moon?
Yeah, Hitler's riding a fucking T-Rex up there, man.
Yeah, he's got a unicorn. Like,
no, I don't think anybody can go to the moon. I don't think anybody ever has been to the moon. I don't think you can actually get through, like people talk about this barrier, right? The firmament, whatever. Werner von Braun on his tombstone had a verse from, can't remember which verse it was in the Bible. Basically, it said, "The firmament showeth his handiwork," which is basically saying like God created this impenetrable barrier above the earth.
So is the idea that it's like a snow globe?
Yeah, I guess there's some credence to that, but I don't know. I've never been to fucking Antarctica.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Like that's one. So yeah, we're kind of bouncing around here, but so back to the Earth thing. Like it's illegal to go to Antarctica unless you're a scientist, right? Like there's very few tourists. Like I mean, it's fucking.
You can go as a civilian, but it's super expensive, and you're basically guided the whole time. You can't go exploring on your own.
And there's some kind of crazy international treaty that says that nobody can go there.
Well, basically, nobody can extract resources from there. So it's like anywhere else on the planet, you can just rape and pillage to your heart's content, but not Antarctica for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, that's where all the goddamn UFOs are, right? I mean, just like that X-Files movie. Fucking,
all the Greys, all the clones.
All the Greys, the clones, yeah, the unicorns. So then, with the moon, too, like there's the one thing I've heard that I thought was interesting about the case that we never went to the moon is that there's no way we could make it through the Van Allen radiation belts.
Right.
Which like, especially...
They did it 12 fucking times in the Apollo missions.
And especially in what Owen Benjamin calls a meth head's tree fort.
Yeah. Almost tweaker shelter.
Yeah.
Dude, look at high-res photos of the lunar lander, and right there, it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, this thing wouldn't be able to fucking like hold water out if it was in the ocean. Yet these people went, 230,000 miles from the Earth and they were in, the shuttle before that, but somehow they were able to go in this fucking thing that's held together with like duct tape and curtain rods, construction paper, and step foot on
Shiny construction paper.
exactly like in the most insane vacuum that we can't recreate on Earth, but yet they did it in this fucking, paper mache fucking diorama that a 10-year-old could make.
I'm just going to interrupt here quick because we have a solution on measuring curvature by the finger of doom.
Oh, no.
The finger of doom says, go to a very long canal and you can measure curvature by shooting a laser through holes in panels set to the same height above the water.
Well, you know what? I've heard of people actually trying that experiment, but it's just there's too many things that get in the way to actually have a beam, like a laser beam, that's coherent enough to make it through that. So
the laser beams get caught up in some other stuff.
Sure, and like the weeds and shit. And,
but
you know what? It's funny because one of the earliest experiments was a guy named Samuel Robotham trying to do that back in the 1800s. There's this place in the UK, I think, called the Bedford Canals, where it's miles of these little channels of water. So he tried to do that. He tried to see the curvature, tried to measure it, and he would use a telescope and a guy in a boat on the other end and stuff, but he could always see it no matter what, no matter how far away this guy got. He didn't measure any discernible curvature.
So what I wanted to get to with the moon too is that they allegedly, the computer that was on the space shuttle or whatever lunar module, our phones have about 5,000 times more computing power now.
Oh man, I think a Game Boy had more
Sure
power than that.
And then they filmed it and broadcasted video back through the Van Allen belts and all this, like, that when it gets into that stuff, it's like super fucking shady.
Well, also, they talked to Nixon on the phone at one point with zero latency. And we can't even do like a fucking Zoom feed without seconds of latency.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like 60 years ago, they could do that with zero latency, or 50 years ago, but we can't do that now. Like, give me a break.
Well, maybe the space shuttle had a big long telephone wire connected to it. Just like Russia, right?
Oh man, Russia, they got all sorts of crazy shit.
Cool. So one kind of last thing, and I have a friend in here that asked if I'll read her hate mail about this next week, and absolutely I will. But what was the last thing I wanted to bring up? Oh yeah, the whole Nazi situation. So
on the moon?
Not on the moon.
In Antarctica.
Se. No, well, maybe.
Well, the UFOs.
Yes, the
Nazi UFOs.
Yeah, this all has to do with that. But so Werner von Braun was the head of the Nazis' rocket.
He was.
division.
Well, he was. Yeah, the head of some kind of.
Like he invented the V2.
Yeah.
And he invented all that shit that they fucking bombed the fuck out of England with and all that. And they were working on some giant fucking gun that was like on the side of the hill. It was like the world's biggest gun and all this shit.
Right.
And so then there was that Project Paperclip, I'm sure maybe a few people have heard of, where they basically split all the top Nazi scientists between the Russians and the Americans. And so I'm inferring that basically somehow started like another, like the Nazi state itself turned into NASA. Because
Well,
NASA gets like what were we saying? It's like $83 million a day. Like their budget is
like,
fucked.
like 52 million a day. I don't know what it is now.
But like Werner von Braun, I mean, I've seen things like I can't remember the name of the group, but they go out. They're like Nazi hunters, and they said that if he was still alive, they'd be trying to fucking put him up for war crimes because he was,
Right. Yeah. Well, he was an SS officer.
which
And,
is huge, the biggest of the big. Like,
yeah, they're like, oh, well, you know stuff about rockets, so why don't you come work for us and, help our space program? But yeah, I mean, the whole Nazi thing to me is a charade. That gets into a whole other topic. But there's still Nazis in the U.S. in the fucking government. Like, let's face it.
well, that's what I like. It's really like I again, this is me making crazy claims, but I would say that's like a good portion of the fucking deep state. Because where does all this black ops budget go? It's like half the fucking
exactly.
U.S. budget. It's fucking insane.
Yeah,
To space wars.
It is. Well, yeah, it is this sort of crazy tech that they're developing and they have developed. And, who's to say that, just because I believe that we are in some sort of system that is enclosed and space isn't what we believe it to be, there might be other shit, other land, other realms that are a part of this reality that doesn't have to be necessarily in the void of space, but, it's still, there's still things that we don't know about where we live. And maybe there's extraterrestrials that are not necessarily coming from hundreds of light years away, but are, on this plane that we're on. So anyways,
Just
what was the
posting a
question?
little bit of Nazi UFO schematics there.
Oh yeah,
Oh, the brill.
Ace is putting up Die Glocka here.
Oh, the Glock. Yeah, the bell. Yeah.
What do you know about that?
Well, they definitely were developing some crazy tech.
And I heard it was like some kind of magnetic shit going on inside of Mercury, and that's what gave it these like fucking
There was
anti-gravity properties and all this shit.
Well, I like all the research that I've done. Basically this world is like an electromagnetic system. So working with that, then you can, defeat gravity.
Sure.
Right. And that's a whole other subject that probably take too long to get into now, but
Yeah, very cool.
definitely they were looking into that, and guaranteed like all that crazy shit that you hear about, like UFOs, anti-gravity technology, that's all been developed by humans.
Yeah, 50 years ago.
Yeah, Roswell is fucking bullshit. Roswell's bullshit. They've had that tech for a long time. So
Really? Because that kind of makes sense. Because you look at like, fuck. I mean, they could have even had fucking cell phones like in the 60s, I bet. Maybe the infrastructure wasn't there yet, and that's the only reason, right?
But it's all just like, RF technology, which is pretty fucking basic.
Yeah, like that's World War II technology, really.
Yeah.
I've got a question here from Scarab Noctis.
Oh, there we go.
Asks,
Okay.
why hadn't anyone taken a picture of the edge of the Earth?
Aha, I like it.
Well, we sort of got into that before. You can't actually get, first of all, you can't explore Antarctica
Right.
by yourself, right? Even if you were independently wealthy, you'd just be like, I'm going to take my goddamn ice hovercraft and go as far as I can. It's like they won't let you do that. And even if they did, you'd be like, well, I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Like, you run out of fuel or food and shit.
Yeah.
You're down there, you're screwed.
So do you think, in this hypothesis about flat Earth, do you think that there's like an ice wall all the way around? Like,
Well, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, definitely, you see pictures of Antarctica and there is an actual ice wall, right? It's fucking like hundreds of feet high. You can go on Google and look it up. Just go, Google ice wall Antarctica. You'll see pictures of it. You see like a big freighter, loading supplies to this plateau. And then supposedly it gets even higher from there too. Like the highest land in the world is in Antarctica.
whoa.
So, as far as getting a picture of the edge, like, I don't know how you would do that.
Well, very interesting. Fuck, man.
Okay, well, I've just got one question because I'm trying to find this article that I read, but Google seems to have deleted it because they seem to do that. The founder of the Flat Earth movement actually had set sail to Antarctica, and he went missing. I don't think he had a really large ship or anything, but he went missing. Do you know anything about that?
Well, as soon as you hear about the founder of the flat Earth movement, I don't know, like right there, that's a red flag for me because, as far as I know, there is no actual founder.
Oh, I
if
see.
someone were to claim to be the founder, they'd be full of shit because people have been talking about this for hundreds of years.
Well, he was an old guy, so he must have been founding something.
Well, if it was like the head of the Flat Earth Society.
Yeah, I think he was.
Okay, well, that's just a complete fucking, as far as I'm concerned, like probably a CIA disinfo campaign.
Interesting.
That kind of stuff generally stays up on Google. This
Okay,
article's
so
gone.
in conclusion, why, why do you think they're trying to sell us on the heliocentric model? And
good question, man.
Okay, like why is it such a big deal to make everybody think that we're living on a spinning ball going through randomness? There is no up, and everything is chaos.
Well, you said it right there. Like it's just random, right? So that implies that there's no creator per se. So I'm not actually a religious person, but I've always believed that there's some kind of, creative sort of force behind everything, right? I don't know if you guys agree with that or not.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, that's up to everybody to, no, for sure.
So basically it discounts that, it's like, well, if everything's just random, this big bang fucking explosion out of nothing universe, it's all just fatalistic, nothing fucking means anything. It's totally random.
So it's a bunch of Luciferian Satanists that fucking want to brainwash everybody into believing that there's no God. If you will.
Yeah. If you want to distill it down to that, sure. I would agree with that.
I mean, because believe in whatever you want to believe. Like, I think there's still good and evil. So, I mean, that could kind of fucking make sense to me,
Oh, for sure, man. Like, that's like the oldest story in the world, right?
Sure, yeah.
Struggle between that. So, yeah, I think it's just these motherfuckers, like, they were Freemasons, they were Jesuits, and they basically brainwashed the whole world, basically. And, well, maybe not the whole world. I'm sure there's pockets where people still don't even know about, like,
in the Amazon jungle.
Yeah. Well, think about that. You're in there in the fucking forest. You're not thinking to yourself, holy shit, man, I'm here fucking spinning 1,000 miles an hour on the equator, and then, the solar system's spinning around the galaxy spinning. It's like, you don't feel any of that shit. You step outside your goddamn dirt hut in the morning, you're like, oh, cool, I'm just here, things are just like still nice. The water in this fucking pond beside me isn't flying off.
Oh, so that reminds me, that's another kind of thing for the flat Earth thing, is that the stars don't change.
Well, yeah, you look at Polaris.
Like if we were like they say, it's this ball that's spinning through space, right? Wouldn't we get a different? I mean, eventually, like even 10,000 years. I mean, that would be enough where it would be dramatically different in perspective, right? But it never seems to be.
Never changes, right? It's always the stars are in the same position depending on the time of year you're in, and also Polaris, is always in the same spot, at least in the northern hemisphere that we're in. You always see it there, right? Like time-lapse photography, you see it rotating around Polaris, and that never changes. So if we're spinning in 6 different motions, always, like constantly, since the beginning of time, you would think that the positions of the stars would change, but they haven't. In as long as, we've been charting courses by the stars for centuries, right? So that wouldn't work if we were moving in all these different directions, traveling like a combined, millions of miles a fucking hour. It's
Yeah, that's what's so kind of crazy too. Like they say the Earth spins at like it's like 18,000 miles an hour or something.
1,000 miles at the equator, just the Earth. Yeah, but then you get into the solar system that's spinning exponentially faster and so on.
Okay, so is the theory too then, I wonder, like what about the other planets? Are they like what's up with that?
Okay, well, I mean, ancient cultures always called them wandering stars. So, we see like the regular stars, they're just doing their thing, kind of rotating around through the seasons. But these other wandering stars, they're actually moving. So, I mean, all we really know is that they are just these lights, these luminaries that are moving in the sky. Other than that, who's to say what they are? If you actually watch video of people taking like close-up videos of them, you'll see like they don't look like what you would assume a burning ball of helium or whatever would look like. It's like, yeah, it's wild. It looks like there's water washing over them.
And that which planet is it? I think it's Saturn or maybe Jupiter, where there's that weird fucking six-sided storm that happens on the North Pole.
Oh yeah, it's like a hexagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably all just CGI, and most likely it's just a program. It's like, look at this fucking hexagonal storm. It's a hex. It's a fucking hex. It's a spell.
Nice. It's a spell, yeah.
There's no fucking way, in my opinion, that there's a spacecraft flying by there, taking pictures of this thing. It's all just a show.
So when they fire off the space shuttle, do you think it's fucking balloons?
No, well, who knows? They might be filled with fucking helium, who knows? But they are definitely sending some shit over over the Atlantic Ocean out of Cape Canaveral, and it's going in a parabolic arc, and it's just landing in the ocean. It's not going anywhere. It's not going into space. You even watch the video. You don't see it like it should just be going straight up. If you want it to go out of the atmosphere, why isn't it just going straight up? But you see it curving over into the ocean, and then like, why is the Bermuda Triangle in that exact spot?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, conspiracies upon conspiracies.
It's amazing. It's the greatest. You see, I'm not going to do the conspiracy corner every week, but it's nice to. I'm trying to do ones that I feel like people don't talk so much about. So,
yeah, Flat Earth definitely people don't like to talk about because you're ridiculed immediately.
Oh yeah, no, my friend is ridiculing you in the chat right now, big time.
Sure, a lot of people are, but that's fine.
No, for sure. I mean, to not even think about it is kind of worse, I think.
Mm-hmm.
To not even try to conceive that.
Totally, and I'm not trying to convince anybody about it. It's just like
yeah.
The conclusion I've come to. And to me, if you're into conspiracies at all, or like the truth or movement, like until you actually look into Flat Earth, like you're kind of doing yourself a disservice, because to me, everything is predicated upon the Flat Earth in terms of conspiracies.
Yeah, I love how, and here's the last one, just to piss everybody off, that I'm just going to parrot another Owen Benjamin thing that he says about how the lunar module was called LEM, and his best friend, who he sang in a barbershop quartet with, and there's pictures of him wearing short shorts. His name was Lem. And all the
It's just serendipity, bro.
Yeah, it's just coincidence. Yeah. Those guys weren't gay. There's no.
No, not at all. It's just like, it just happens.
Just happens. Well, thanks so much. We've given the people a little more than an hour here. I think that's all they deserve.
We got to cut to commercial still.
Well, no, I don't think we will. Well, is there one we haven't played?
Yeah.
Oh, there's one we haven't played.
Oh,
all right, cool.
right.
Well, let's do a quick commercial, and then let's just all do like a big wrap-up outro thing.
I agree.
Cool. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll be right back. Just wanted to let everybody know, if you want to help out the show, if you like what we're doing here, if you want to support, we were just talking, there's 31 viewers we got up to tonight. Crushing it.
Pretty good.
Crushing it.
Pretty good.
That's better than last week. And but if you want to support the podcast or the show, the late night show, I got to pay Ace something eventually, right? Like, come on here. Like, you can't do this for free forever. You can go to paypal.me/GLWN, Getting Late with Nate, and you can just fire me money. Or if you're in Canada, you can shoot tips to gettinglatewithnate@gmail.com. And then this afternoon, I launched a Patreon for the show. So if you want, go to patreon.com/gettinglate-with-Nate. No second G in getting late with Nate. And become an ongoing Patreon subscriber. I set it up so that, so the idea will be in the future, like, we kind of gave you too much Conspiracy Corner tonight. We should have chopped it off at like 10 minutes, and then I should have said, if you want to see more, subscribe to the Patreon for $1, $2, or $10, however much you'd like to give monthly. And then you would get to see bonus content. And once, the idea too is we'll have real musical guests someday, not just be playing our buddies' videos and stuff. So
technology will be advancing.
The idea is that by becoming a Patreon subscriber, you'll get bonus content and maybe an extra musical performance song or comedian or whatever, and extra interview stuff. So and then gettinglatewithnate.com. Check that out. Everything's linked up there, and I want to thank Lyndon from Downway. Thanks, buddy. And I want to thank Ron JERGS for showing up wherever you are out there, Ron. Thanks so much, buddy. And I want to thank Steve Fletcher for coming on. Thanks a lot, man. That was tremendously informative. And
yeah, we could have gone. We really could have gone at least another 4 hours on that one.
Yeah, at least. Yep. But that's what I mean. We will in the future. We'll have to
have them back.
So get on that darn Patreon and kick me some change or a bill of some kind, and that just allows us to buy more crap.
Crap.
Oh. Whoa, was that a trigger word for you?
I couldn't hear.
And actually, I could probably pay Ace for some of his crap.
Yeah, like beer.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody can cover our beer budget, that would be huge. I want to thank Ace and Mr. Pants as well. Thanks, guys.
Hey.
There's like Telegram handles everywhere. Sign up to everybody. Like and share. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to say is, like, please like the videos, share the videos, subscribe, hit the little ding dong thing so you know when we go live or a new video is posted. And if you can just help in that way, that would be awesome. So thanks for watching, everybody. This was a hell of a hoot to do, and we will see you next Friday at 10 p.m.-ish. Thanks, everybody.